Hello YouTubers out there, this is Jerry Saravia at the movies. Now before we start to talk about a little bit about Indiana Jones 5, I want to say first of all I have up to now 610 subscribers, which is not a lot, but it's pretty good for me. That means 610 people have seen my channel and subscribed to it. For someone like me who's not necessarily popular, and that's fine, that's not bad. My top videos are still Casino, funny censored clips from the Bravo TV version. That is the TV version that was shown on Bravo years ago. I will try and set up a link for that one. I think a lot of you will find it amusing. And Nixon being pressed to run for president, which is a clip from Oliver Stone's film Nixon, which I just put it on my channel years ago, and it flew right off the roof. In fact, Oliver Stone even shared the clip on Twitter, so that was pretty damn cool. And a few others remain fairly popular. I think it's, let me just take a look here. At least in the last, my channel has gotten 2,923 views in the last 28 days. So, okay, here we go. And then the Bruce and Linda Lee, The Look of Love in Pictures. It's a short little segment from the first Legends of Hollywood video I did on Bruce Lee. And I just shared that segment, that alone, since for the last 7-8 months or whatever it was, when April 29th of 2019, okay. That's when I uploaded it. That's had 45,000 views. That's interesting to me. And a lot of people have checked out my Mr. Majestic Charles Bronson review, my Natalie Wood video, and Diane Franklin video, which was a short little one video I did. So I'm gonna, and also a review of the seasons 1 and 2 of Resurrection, that TV show that came out quite a few years ago. In fact, the review was from April 5th, 2015. The time is flying. I tend to forget when I did these things. Anyway, I'm happy for all of you who have subscribed to my channel. That's pretty cool. Please share. I want to try to get more views, but you know, I can only get what I can get. The last one I think I did was the Academy's apology to Sachi and Littlefeather. Was it a John Wayne threat? And that's a pretty good video, and the article that I shared was also very good, which is questions the truth of whether John Wayne was threatening to assault her or not. So I always like those stories. This channel, you know, has always been about movie reviews, fan-made trailers, TV reviews, although I haven't done them for a while. I may get back into that. We'll see. That was called The Boob Wasteland Show, which I still like that title. And, I mean, years ago, wow, 11 years ago, I reviewed the premiere episode of 2.5 Men's 9th season. That's when Ashton Kutcher took over for Charlie Sheen. So, yeah, I got a lot of these in there. So those are always fun. So it's a little bit of everything, movie-related to some degree, fan-made trailers that I've done, so on and so forth. So what to look forward to now is I will do a... I'm just completing now, and I have to tinker with a couple little things, some edits for my Harold Lloyd video, which I hope people will check out. It's called Glasses, a Harold Lloyd story, feature rather, and it's my newest Legends of Hollywood video. So if you're interested in Legends of Hollywood videos, there's a playlist with, I did 5 of them now. This will be the 5th one. My next one will be on Bela Lugosi, which I think will be a lot of fun. I'm going to do something very creative with that one. It won't be quite like the other stuff that I've done. And anyway, so, and I am going to do, like I did one for Diane Franklin, 80s Last American Babe tribute. That was back in 2014. By the way, for those of you who haven't seen The Last American Virgin, which starred Diane Franklin, this is celebrating its 40th anniversary. You know, again, where does the time go? So I'm going to do a short one on Sharon Tate. I have a couple of songs and show the beauty and the effervescent visual of Sharon Tate herself. So that will be fun. And so that's what I'll be working on. So, and also, I had promised to do a Blade Runner analysis, and I will. It won't be a long one for a video. I did write one, so I'm going to base it a lot on what I wrote, and I'm also doing something unusual. I'm going to record a commentary track for The Stepfather, which is one of the best thrillers of the 1980s. And since I've spoken to Jill Sholin and interviewed her, of course she was in the film, and then you got Terry O'Quinn, who's in the picture, of course. And since I wrote about the film for college way back when, and I've done a lot of research since of that film, I think I'm ready to do a commentary track that's going to be a little different than the one Joseph Rubin, the director, did for the DVD of The Stepfather. So, now on to Indiana Jones 5. Now, there's a lot of rumors out there about this movie. Indiana Jones Nerd has discussed a few things. He has a pretty good channel on what's happened with this movie. What is it about? Now, I started talking about Indiana Jones 5, wow, I guess close to more than 11 years ago on this channel. I've done a few videos, and there were rumors, and so far we still really don't know what the story of this movie is, what object he's after or artifact. We have an idea of some of the places that he will be in, Indiana Jones that is, the globe-trotting archaeologist. An adventure, we know he'll be in Scotland, and I don't know if Greece was one. So there's a couple of locations. We know Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in the movie, but we still don't know for sure who she's playing. Toby Jones is also in the picture. I want to say his name is Boyd. Oh God, I can't remember his last name. Antonio Banderas is in it, which he's always good for a ripe adventure yarn, and for Indiana Jones he's perfect. And you know, he has a little connection in a sense because he did 2 Mask of Zorro films, so that would be perfect. Why somebody didn't cast him as Zorro meeting up with Indiana Jones, but that's a whole other, it's exciting enough that he's going to be in it. And I think Antonio Banderas was also in that Uncharted movie, which I haven't seen yet. But lend me your thoughts on that, whether it's worth. I may check it out because I love action adventure, and I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. Indiana Jones 5. At the end of the day, I hope it's a good story, but I will see it regardless. I love the character of Indiana Jones. I mean, it's pretty much informed most of my life. It's been 40+ years of Indiana Jones. It's made a difference for me, the character and everything, so I look forward to the next one. Each movie holds their own weight. Each one is technically different from the other, and they've developed the character. But I've talked all about this already, and you can check out my Indiana Jones videos on my playlist. In particular, talking about Indiana Jones 5. At one point, I thought this movie wasn't going to happen at all. So I'm glad it's happened. Whether it's good or not, who can say? I'm going to watch it, so it doesn't matter. And I think for some of us, you know what? We just look, regardless of your thoughts of Crystal Skull, we still look forward to, some of us, what it is that is going to be offered in this new movie. The interesting thing is they haven't even given us a title yet. Now, the movie is scheduled for June 30th, 2023. Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movie, Dead Reckoning, obviously has a title. And there's already been a trailer, and it's coming out pretty much at the exact same time. And the interesting thing is, even a title, I mean, when you think about it, in July of 2007 was the MTV Movie Awards. Shia LaBeouf was on stage, and he did something he wasn't supposed to, so that may be the reason. He told the world what the title of the next Indiana Jones picture was. And that was a good less than a year before the movie was going to be out. So, that's just how things go. Now, their first teaser for Crystal Skull was in February of 2008. So, I think it was right around Valentine's Day, interestingly enough. We don't know if Karen Allen is back. So, there's a lot of rumors about this movie, between the fact that it's set in 1969. We know some of the actors who are going to be in it. Mads Mikkelsen, for one. Obviously, Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. who, by the way, if you haven't checked out her show Fleabag, she's very funny. How she's going to fit in this universe, I think she'll fit just fine in Indiana Jones. I'm excited that she's in it. Some people think it's going to be, you know, a feminist variation on Indiana Jones to the point that she's going to take over the role and she'll be called Indiana Jones. Like, that makes any sense. Interestingly enough, this is what people thought about the last James Bond picture. That 007 was going to be some woman was going to be called James Bond. Like, that makes any sense. Taking his license number, 007, is one thing. You know, there's so much fear out there because of what's happened to a lot of movies where usually the women have been closer to being center stage in some of these franchises, which doesn't necessarily bother me. I mean, I think it depends what we're talking about. James Bond will always still be James Bond, and they're planning a new James Bond movie anyway. So what they'll do with it, who knows? I mean, there have already been differences with James Bond going as far back as License to Kill, or sorry, The Living Daylights. Now, if you remember, that movie came out in 1987 during the AIDS era, when AIDS was especially certainly a detriment to our society. And it showed in the work, because Timothy Dalton's James Bond, I think, barely sleeps with anybody. Usually there's a bevy of women, and, you know, they've changed that considerably since those days. Since the days of Sean Connery and certainly Roger Moore. So Timothy Dalton, you know, who was not right for that role anyway, but that's just my opinion. So I guess what I'm saying is, with the times always dictates something new. But with the case of Indiana Jones, I don't think Harrison Ford would agree to having his character, spoiler alert, although this is probably not a spoiler because it probably doesn't even happen anyway. But it's something that was revealed by some to happen, that he's killed in the movie and she takes over, as if that makes any sense. Or that it's a time travel scenario and that he's killed in the past, and then the Indiana Jones from the future that visits him is also killed. I mean, what kind of a story is this? That would be very disappointing if they go that route. I think this is going to be a regular Indiana Jones adventure. It will probably be more epic than the others. It may even be more exciting. It's got a new director, obviously, no Spielberg. So, you know, who knows? I'm sure he's not going to be climbing in a fridge and ruin people's childhood because of that moment. But, and in addition to them criticizing the script, which I always found funny, because the scripts are about as good as they can get until you realize that Raiders of the Lost Ark, their whole script was improvised. And, or how can I put it? They improvised based on the script. A lot of the stuff they did was not even in the script for Raiders. But anyway, these are what I would like to affectionately call movies. That's what Indiana Jones is. So I look forward to it. And whatever happens, happens. But don't assume that a woman's going to take over the role. You know, that's ridiculous. But having a... because it's still going to be called Indiana Jones, unless, of course, it's called something else entirely. But I guess we'll see what other spoilers come out. But so far, sufficiently few. In fact, hardly any, really, other than knowing who the cast is, and people speculating based on footage that was released of behind the scenes, which is not always a clear indication of what a movie is going to be about. Some are worried there is a time travel scenario, some are not so worried, some think that's a good idea. Who the hell knows? It could have a sci-fi bent, not unlike what they did with Crystal Skull, with regards to aliens and all this stuff, which bothered some people, but oh well. If they go more with sci-fi elements than the supernatural or a mixture of the two, I don't care, as long as it's a good story. And as long as you also develop the character. And that's what they have been doing with Indiana Jones. They've been developing his character. So, and add new, shades and all this other stuff. That's the kind of stuff that would excite me. Other than just plugging somebody into a role, a character who we all love, and doing the same old thing. That's the Mummy movies. This is significantly better, in my opinion. So I look forward to it. All right, well, that's all I got to say about that. There's not much more you can say. When other stuff comes out about Indiana Jones 5, I will discuss it. And I look forward to it. And that's all I got to say. So please subscribe to my channel and let me know your thoughts about Indiana Jones 5 or any of the videos I have on my channel. If you happen to check out my playlists, please do. I will set up the links for it. Alright. So, this is Jerry Saravia at the Movies, signing off.